If you love pizza as much as we do, then you're probably interested in a variety of styles. Though they are very similar, the differences between handmade and hand-tossed are that hand-tossed crust is thinner, homemade is often thicker and chewier, and hand-tossed tends to be crispy. In this video, we're gonna go over hand-tossed versus handmade pizza. Let's get into it. Hand-tossed pizza is how it sounds. The chef prepares it by turning and tossing the dough in the air to create a thin and circular form that is easier to bake in the oven. Because of this process, hand-tossed pizza is often thinner and crispier than handmade pizza. This is a choice that you can make, and it can be daunting to throw food up in the air, but once you get the hang of it, you can make some really tasty pizza. Handmade pizza takes away the tossing and instead has you form your dough into a large circle or rectangular shape and then cook it in a baking dish or a hot skillet. Once the crust is cooked, it's topped with cheese and sauce, and then it's baked until the cheese has melted and the crust has reached golden brown perfection. This is the type of pizza that originated in Italy, and it can come in many forms, such as Chicago style, which is usually a rectangular in shape with a thick and fluffy crust, stuffed pan pizza, which before cooking stuff the crust with cheese or other toppings, and fruit and nut pizza, where you top the pizza with fruit or nuts instead of traditional ingredients. The first step in the pizza procedure is to prepare your traditional pizza dough. You do that by getting a bowl and adding water, sugar, and then sprinkling yeast on top and combining it into a mixer. Let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes before stirring it with a spoon or spatula. Then you'll add flour, olive oil, and salt. Mix it slowly and knead for 5 minutes or until the dough is smooth and elastic. Then leave it until it doubles in size. When you're ready to toss, sprinkle some flour on the dough and your workstation. Hold your tossing hand up with your fingers splayed like you're holding a plate. Use your other hand to put the dough on your dominant hand. Start tossing it counterclockwise, and once you have it in a good rotation, toss it up in the air a bit so it turns itself and falls back into your hand. Repeat these steps until you have the desired shape and thickness. Making homemade pizza is similar to the steps as hand-tossed pizza, except you aren't tossing the dough in the air. You would start by preheating the oven to 500 degrees for 30 minutes. Next, you sprinkle cornmeal over your pizza pan, then take your dough and press it out onto your pizza pan and brush the outer edge with olive oil. Then apply all of your desired toppings. Next, put it in the oven and bake for 10 to 14 minutes or until the crust has become perfectly brown and the pizza is completely cooked through. Although both are forms of pizza and they have similar cooking styles, there are some differences to consider. The first being how the dough is prepared. The dough for handmade pizza is typically mixed with more olive oil, so it's more moist and thick, while hand-tossed pizza has that thinner crust. Also, the crust for hand-tossed pizza is made from dough that's tossed and stretched by hand. Meanwhile, the dough of handmade pizza is typically pressed into a baking pan. Because of the differences, hand-tossed pizzas usually have crispier edges. Another difference to consider is the toppings. Although it's not a hard and fast rule, typically hand-tossed pizzas are loaded with tons of different meats and vegetables, while handmade pizzas usually have 1 or 2 types of toppings. The third difference is the texture. Homemade pizza tends to be more crunchy and golden because of the olive oil that's used during preparation. Homemade pizza is often also thicker, and hand-tossed pizzas are often drier and softer. The last difference is the taste. Because of how it's cooked in the pan, homemade pizzas often taste a bit more like a tasty loaf of bread, while hand-tossed pizzas taste more like a flatbread. However, the toppings you pick will also affect the flavor. Hand-tossed pizzas are usually less greasy because they have less olive oil. At the end of the day, no matter what pizza you pick, whether it's hand-tossed or handmade, it's going to be a tasty delight that you're gonna love. We can all agree that whether you put pineapple on your pizza, mushrooms, cheese, or pepperoni, pizza is a food that can be enjoyed by all. We hope you enjoyed this video and encourage you to like and subscribe. Don't forget to visit momswhothink.com for recipes, parenting advice, and more. Thanks for watching.